As the world is battling the COVID-19 virus, the digital world is suffering from its own pandemic. Let's learn more from our next speaker's presentation on the pandemic of the internet. Our speaker has 14 years of experience in the field of IT, networking, and cybersecurity. He heads a team of technical engineers providing consultancy services and training for a wide range of cybersecurity, data center, and unified communication solutions. On top of this, he also puts in place the necessary resource planning that's important in delivering the best service to partners and customers alike. Please welcome Technical Head at Exclusive Networks, Mr. Paolo Adrian Santa Clara.
You've heard it before. The connected age. Life at the speed of the internet. It's a digital world. What you might not have heard is that we can keep it safe. Because at Crowdstrike, we stop breaches. So wherever you go, go with confidence. Anywhere. Welcome to Anywhere. Crowdstrike. We stop breaches.
Good day to everyone, and thank you for taking time to attend this session. I hope you are all healthy and doing well. Thank you to ISOG as well for inviting us for this year's summit. I am Paolo Santa Clara. I am heading the technical team of Exclusive Networks Philippines. Exclusive Networks is a trusted digital infrastructure specialist. We are a value-add distributor of Imperva and Crowdstrike, among other cybersecurity solutions, data center and cloud solutions, as well as unified communication. And for today, let me share with you what are the current cybersecurity trends, the pandemic of the internet, its symptoms, prevention, and beyond. The coronavirus has transformed many aspects of our lives. It has shut down schools, businesses, and workplaces and forced millions to stay at home for extended lengths of time. We are also in and out of different lockdown classifications to limit social contact since last year. And this profoundly altered the way many work, learned, connected with loved ones, carried out basic daily tasks, how we celebrated, and how we mourned. Organizations had to implement business continuity measures quickly in response to COVID-19 pandemic, or actually face the risk of going out of business. These measures were often at the expense of cybersecurity, leaving many exposed to exploitation by highly organized and sophisticated threat actors, as well as other more opportunistic hackers, thus resulting to a pandemic of the internet. According to the Canalys Cybersecurity Report, organizations should prioritize cybersecurity and invest in broadening protection, detection, and response measure or actually face disaster. There is increasing pressure to detect, prevent, and respond at the speed to cybersecurity threats. And these are the key trends in this new cybersecurity norm. First is COVID-19 has accelerated the digital transformation. For work, the use of Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and WebEx actually for collaboration has surged. For education, lessons were supplemented with Google Classroom and other learning resources across primary, secondary, and tertiary levels. For healthcare, dependence on telemedicine actually increased as existing services became overstretched. For shopping, e-commerce was vital for everyday items. The use of payment gateways and online banking accelerated. We are also using contact tracing apps, and even people's social lives went digital. At the start of 2020, there were five key risks most organizations had to mitigate. Cyber attacks and data breaches were among them, and still holds true up to this day. Digital transformation, however, is resulting in a more complex IT industry. For every step forward taken, new challenges arise. This usually and unintentionally opens up new attack vectors for threat actors to exploit, as well as raising the possibility of human error resulting in data breaches. Next is workforce dynamic has changed permanently. Workforces has become highly decentralized, predominantly working beyond the traditional safety net of their organization's network perimeters. Many will continue to work this way in post-COVID-19 era, and work from home or work from anywhere is actually here to stay. Next is perimeterless IT. The organization and consumption of IT has become perimeterless. Organizations are subscribing to and using more cloud software services instead of their on-premise software deployed within their own data centers. Organizations are also migrating more of their existing application from private data centers to public cloud environments, while in parallel, developing new cloud native applications. And lastly, the cybersecurity ecosystem should actually evolve as well. Traditional cybersecurity architectures and practices, widely deployed over the last 10 to 20 years, are no longer flexible, which assumes IT still has fixed perimeters and that workforces are centralized. This will have major implications across the different ecosystem of the cybersecurity industry. Rethinking about the trust in the context of our digital future means rethinking the role of cybersecurity. More than 90% of enterprises are accelerating digital transformation plans, and over 5 trillion US dollars to be spent online this 2021 alone, with 25% of companies now trading on Facebook. 83% of enterprises have workloads in the cloud, and 74% of CFOs plan to keep workforces mobile and remote. Also, there are 175 zettabytes of data estimated to be in use by 2025, and the annual SaaS growth of 34% is also posted. With all these stats, the market dynamics are huge. The increased reliance on digital infrastructure is immense. The pressure to combat threats continues to grow. However, skills are in short supply. Things move so quickly that working out what to implement and how is very challenging. Addressing this is absolutely critical for everyone in the cybersecurity industry. Next is threat has become more sophisticated. Just like how we detect symptoms of COVID-19, such as fever or chills, cough, loss of sense of taste or smell, there are obvious and not so obvious symptoms of being infected by malwares and its different forms, such as ransomware. Obviously, if infected by ransomware, an adversary encrypts a victim's data and offers to provide a decryption key in exchange for a payment. Other symptoms may or may not be so obvious, such as low computer, browser redirects on its own, sudden loss of disk space, and others. But similarly, we are looking at the threat actor ecosystem. Threat actors have become more sophisticated and successful with their attacks. This has been in part driven by automation, which has enabled bot operators to grow and become more profitable. Just under a third of all internet traffic is estimated to be generated by malicious bots, while over a third of logging attempts to websites and other digital services are fake. Advanced persistent bots have emerged that use compromised PII data, resulting in mass credential abuse, web scraping, inventory grabbing, DDoS attacks, and vulnerability scanning. As you can see from the diagram, scalper groups, hacktivists, cybercriminals who targets lower value targets and consumers are using malware, phishing, DDoS, botnet tactics, while cyber terrorists and ransomware groups are using more advanced tactics such as ransomware and advanced persistent threats. This is, of course, to target the high-value targets such as enterprises and government agencies. Ransomware delivered through phishing campaigns accelerated in 2020, with the reported number of cases up nearly 60%. Phishing campaigns targeted the vulnerabilities of unsecured and poorly trained remote workers. This will continue as workplaces remain closed in response to COVID-19. But ransomware is not only being used to exfiltrate data, as threat actors look to extort organizations by shutting down critical systems to disrupt the operations. The use of ransomware will change again in 2021. Cloud infrastructure and software services will be targeted as more data is stored across multiple cloud services beyond the traditional IT perimeter. Attacks will also shift from the use of ransomware to cripple IT processes to hijacking critical physical infrastructure. So, how can we stay protected? Aside from having endpoint protection and endpoint detection and response solutions, this can be further complemented by proactive threat hunting. So, what is proactive threat hunting? Threat hunting is the practice of proactively searching for cyber threats that are lurking undetected in a network. Cyber threat hunting digs deep to find malicious actors in your environment that have slipped past your initial endpoint security defenses. And after sneaking in, an attacker can stealthily remain in a network for months as they quietly collect data, look for confidential material, or obtain login credentials that will allow them to move laterally across the environment. Once an adversary is successful in evading detection and an attack has penetrated an organization's defenses, many organizations lack the advanced detection capabilities needed to stop the advanced persistent threats from remaining in the network. That's why threat hunting is an essential component of any defense strategy. Threat hunters assume that adversaries are already in the system and they initiate investigation to find unusual behavior that may indicate the presence of malicious activity. In proactive threat hunting, this initiation of investigation typically falls into three main categories. First is the hypothesis driven investigation. Hypothesis driven investigation are often triggered by a new threat that has been identified through a large pool of crowdsourced attack data, giving insights into the attacker's latest tactics, techniques, and procedures. Once a new tactic, techniques, and procedure has been identified, threat hunters will then look to discover if the attacker's specific behavior are found in their own environment. Next step is investigation based on known indicators of compromise or indicators of attack. This approach to threat hunting involves leveraging tactical intelligence to catalog known indicators of compromise or indicators of attack associated with new threats. Then, this become triggers that threat hunters use to uncover potential hidden attacks or ongoing malicious activity. Third is advanced analytics and machine learning investigation. The third approach combines powerful data analysis and machine learning to sift through a massive amount of information in order to detect irregularities that may suggest potential malicious activity. These anomalies became hunting leads that are investigated by skilled analysts to identify stealthily threats. All three approaches are a human powered effort that combines threat intelligence resources with advanced security technology to proactively protect an organization's systems and information. There are also three steps for threat hunting. First is the trigger. This points threat hunters to a specific area of the network for investigation when potential malicious activity is detected. Second step is investigation. Threat hunters uses EDR or endpoint detection and response technology to deep dive into potential compromise of a system. And third, resolution. Communicating malicious activity intelligence to operations and security teams so they can respond to the incident and mitigate threats. All of which forms part of a proactive threat hunting model to go beyond prevention against threats. Moving on, aside from ransomware attacks, there are also data breaches. The cybersecurity industry is responding with investment in new, innovative, scalable, and flexible architectures, as well as features and functionalities to adapt to these threats. But then again, there are also overlooked signs of data breaches, which includes unusual login activity, unusual file changes and database manipulation, the appearance of suspicious or unknown files, locked accounts, and changed user credentials. Cybersecurity is being embedded across all technologies, but the challenge is to shift the mindset of executives in charge of running their organizations from an if a breach will affect their business to when. The threat actor ecosystem is broad and diverse. And since 2005, at least 55 billion data records have been compromised in 900 known breaches. 77% of these data records have been compromised in the last 2 years alone, with 2020 being the worst year on record. Over the last 12 months, 31 billion data records were known to have been compromised, up 171% from a year ago. In order to get ahead of data breaches, we can take a look at key areas to secure workloads anywhere and data everywhere. These are exploring how we can secure your edge, application, and data. When it comes to DDoS mitigation, the rule of thumb is moments to go down, hours to recover. This is why, when defending against an attack, every second counts. DDoS actually equates to loss of business, and 91% of organizations experience downtime from DDoS. 300,000 US dollars is the average cost of 1 hour of downtime. Also, we should take a look at the DNS. DNS is actually the gateway to your business. And according to stats, $1 million is the average cost of a DNS attack per organization. And 79% of organizations were hit by DDoS attacks or DNS attacks in 2020. Next is how we can secure the application. This in turn focuses on mitigating application layer attacks such as OWASP top 10 attacks or other layer 7 attacks. And this includes having web application firewall, having advanced bot protection, having API security, having client-side protection, having runtime protection, and having serverless protection. Next is we should also secure the data itself. Understand how we can secure and comply with regulations for our data. We need to know where's my data and what are the users doing with it. But growing data volume and an increasing fragmented technology ecosystem have made this an impossible question to answer. 44% of companies are actually blind to data activity. We should also rethink how we can protect critical business data via cloud protection and database risk compliance. 90% of data breaches are actually caused by human errors. Security incidents are often caused by employees. Human error leads to compromised accounts that go right through access controls and encryption. And this is where data user behavior analytics can help and also comply with data privacy regulations to secure the protection of data and privacy. Moreover, this approach of edge, application, and data security will greatly improve our security posture. In summary, there is a need to keep up with digital transformation and stay secure in this new cyber norm and prevent a pandemic of the internet. And having the right tools is actually key. Essential security solutions such as endpoint protection and endpoint detection and response are actually important. Edge security, application security, and data security actually helps in prevention and beyond. More importantly, awareness training and an education campaign for the new CyberNorm for all employees is a must. And having a specialist partner that you can actually consult for your digital transformation initiatives is also important. So, with that said, that's actually the end of my presentation. So, again, thank you for your time. I hope we were able to share some key insights on cybersecurity. And for more info, please visit our booth to know more about our solutions and our services. We will be, of course, glad to assist you. You may also reach me via my email address below if you have other questions or clarifications, and also see our website at www.exclusive-networks.com. Again, have a nice day to everyone. Keep safe and goodbye.